They want that bit of heaven, and sometimes they get a taste of hell.
These faces are familiar.
We have this kind of devastation.
But not because Marshall Freck personally knew any of the more than 100 lives lost in the catastrophic flooding in central Texas.
So I worked on flood events for 20 years, and I saw a lot of people who were devastated.
His documentary Flash Flood Alley came out in 2005. It highlights flooding problems in central Texas, intended as a cautionary tale.
Sadly, it's not just similar to what we talked about in Flash Flood Alley. That movie was an exact blueprint for what's just happened.
After every disaster, he says the cycle repeats, rebuilding right back in harm's way.
Remove those structures that are too close to the water. Don't allow people to rebuild there.
He believes those floodplains should become public land.
This land would be better served to be parks, to have hike and bike trails. That means the state and federal resources stepping up and buying some of these homes out. This is a very difficult message, and people who work on this issue have been saying this kind of thing for a long time.
And it's not just Texas they're trying to reach.
Had that big air mass of all that moisture not dropped in central Texas, it could have kept coming north. And the next big escarpment is the Front Range of Colorado.
He's hoping communities like ours understand the risks, so no more lives become part of the same familiar story.
And we can't just say this is the fault of the Weather Service. This is really how these agencies work together.
He also said part of the problem is how data gets watered down and that these freak events are dismissed as outliers instead of recognized as the pattern that they've now become.
Yeah, so often you hear that 100-year flood or something, once in a lifetime kind of event.
Right.
But in Colorado, we can think of a lot of big events that happened in our lifetime.
Exactly.
So.
And what he's saying is basically, this type of freak event is something that he's been tracking for 20 years. He did a documentary on it back in 2005. He's like, this should be part of the data now rather than an outlier.
Right, it saves lives at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, for all the information that he knows, this must be even more difficult for someone like him.
Right.
To hear that and see that. Thank you, Rhea.